to session 2 of this Finding Balance series that I wanted to leave you with. We have another beautiful session today, and today's session is focused on finding balance and through the yoga postures, standing postures. But because I'm who I am, I like to stack things so that way we have what we've learned incorporated into new practices, because our practice is always evolving just like us. So this is an opportunity to continue to carry through each time, each session, something that we have taken with us. So we will need our myofascia release balls or a tennis ball and 2 yoga blocks today for our practice. We will get started just having one of the therapy balls out in front of you and having your 2 blocks off to the side of your mat, just like mine. This could be at the front of your mat. I have my mat long ways, but you could open yours facing the front of your mat. Before we begin, we always pause. Let's close our eyes and connect. You could bring left hand to heart and right hand to belly. And just taking a moment to connect to yourself and asking yourself where you do feel imbalance in life right now. And where are some places that you need to honor or give attention to create more balance in your life? And just as the nature around us, the cycles of sun and moon, there are only 2 days of the year that are actually in balance. Can you be gentle with yourself when you do fall a little bit off track, knowing that you will return back on to your truest, most powerful self? And bring your hands together in prayer at the heart and just take a nice deep breath in. And a big clearing breath out, just letting go. Go ahead, you can release those palms. And we're going to step into our practice right away. So we'll grab our therapy ball, we'll bring it underneath our foot, right in the center of the foot here. I'll show you this little side view, and we're just going to lean in and lean out. So just getting that compression to help stimulate the flow of blood. This is kidney 1. It's an acupuncture point. It's the lowest acupuncture point in the body, and it is has to do with creating more balance within your life. So we start here, and then from here we're going to start to trace back towards our heel. So just rolling each toe pad back towards your heel. So you can just start to feel that pressure. We want to really drag the ball towards the heel and then lightly lift to bring it back. So we drag it back towards the heel and then lightly lift to roll it back towards the toes. Just getting that blood flow and that lymphatic flow moving from the foot back up, following those lymphatic vessels, right? So the lymphatic vessels move through the body. They are alongside our circulatory system, and they have to move all the way up to the heart. But unfortunately, the lymphatic system doesn't have a heart to pump it, so this kind of motion helps move and stimulate that flow. So from here, we're just going to go nice and gentle, just a little scrub all over the whole foot, even into the heel. Just getting some awareness into our feet before we begin to balance, because when we are not in our foundation of our feet, we're more likely to be klutzy and fall all out of balance. So let's go ahead, close your eyes, stand in your feet, and just notice the difference between left and right. Even noticing placement of foot and weight. Does it feel different? And then we'll go on over to the other side. So bringing the ball into the middle of your foot and just pressing in and pressing out. Just feeling that to choose how much pressure you want to apply, but it doesn't have to be so firm all the time. You don't always have to seek that deep sensation. Just rolling back. And then nice and gently just do some scribbling. So just all over the whole foot, rolling over toes, heel, center foot, inner, outer. Just getting that whole foot to wake up a little bit, stimulate some of those nerves at the base of the foot to arrive to this moment so we can balance. And then you can place your therapy balls off to the side for now. And from here, we'll have those blocks on the tallest setting, and we're going to step the left foot back, the heel in, and the toes slightly out, as the right foot is just directly forward and straight. We do want to keep a little bit of buoyancy in the knees, so we're not locking out the joint, but just keeping a little bit of buoyancy there. From here, we'll slowly begin to fold forward and relaxing down. Finding 5 breaths here, just getting into the hamstring and getting into your feet. Getting grounded and rooted in your body. And then from here, we're going to bend into that back knee and sink back with our hips. And then work to straighten and then bend into your front knee and push through your back heel so you can get a calf stretch. So straightening front, bending back. And then straightening back and bending front. And so we'll just do that twice more. Bending back, sinking back. And then straightening, bending forward and pushing back. Nice. So just feeling that weight here into your feet. Take a nice deep breath in. Clearing breath out. I'm going to take those blocks just foot width forward. And then get a nice good bend into that front knee, getting your weight forward, feeling that launching off of that back leg, and see what it would be like to try to hover your foot to lift, rotate toes down, and then just gently tap and lift and tap. Right? So just finding that gentle lift and tap, lift and tap. 2 more. The next time you lift, you're going to stay up. Taking a deep breath in, clearing breath out. 1 more inhale and exhale. And from here, you're going to try to come light onto the fingertips. So even you can stay on the blocks, that's fine. Trying to lift that back leg. And then maybe you try to bring one hand off the block and the other. Maybe you sweep back behind you, Degasana, or 3. And then nice and slowly, just the way you came in, one hand, then the other back to the heart, fingertips to the blocks, hands to the blocks, and slowly releasing, folding forward here. Take a deep breath in, and clearing breath out. We're going to step that left foot forward, and then bringing your big toes to touch or having your feet hip width distance apart. You're going to sink the hips back, coming into your chair pose, tucking tailbone under, and just noticing the strength of that right leg that we just worked, that quadricep, that strength there, tuning into that. Nice, and then reaching it up and clearing it away, and we'll take that sequence to the other side. So now that left foot is going to come forward, the right heel will come back, the heel is in, the toe is out with a nice 45-degree angle, and we work to rotate ribs forward, but just like that little gentle bounce with your knee. Hands to the hips, trying to lengthen your spine, and exhale to fold. Nice, take a deep breath in, lengthening spine, you're pulling that front hip, left hip back. And exhale, try to soften your shoulders, your jaw, your throat. So feeling that openness of your feet from rolling it, we're able to really connect to the earth, to the ground, so we can stay rooted through our balance. From here, we're slowly going to start to bend into that back knee, sinking our weight back into our hips, feeling a deeper stretch in the back of the thigh. And then straightening back leg and bending into the front knee, feeling what it's like to get the weight moving forward into that front leg. And then coming back, bending into back knee, sinking back. Coming forward, straightening and bending front knee. Nice, let's do that twice more. Nice and slow transitions as we go from one to the other. Because we know what's coming next, and sometimes that's helpful for our nervous system, that repetition. Sometimes it creates panic. So, all of it's a choice though, you get to choose. So the next time that you bend into that front knee, you're going to stay there, maybe moving those blocks a little bit more forward. You're going to try to keep rotating your hips forward and down as you start to lift that back leg up and then slowly tap. And it can be any amount. It doesn't have to be the highest lift, but just little lifts, trying to keep pulling that left hip back as you get these little taps down. Just playing with that shifting of weight even more now. And once we recognize where we are in space, we are able to really find how we want to show up in the space. The next time that you go to lift, stay up, really try to spiral your inner thigh down, toes down, kind of lengthen spine. Take a deep breath in. And out. Start to push back through your flying foot as much as you're pushing into the ground. Start to get a little bit more float-like, becoming a loft here. Just coming onto the fingertips, onto the blocks. And maybe you stay here, just trying to push back like we were getting that weight back when we bent that back leg. Maybe one hand to heart. Maybe the other meets it. Maybe the hands sweep back behind you, open heart. Just taking your time. The way we came in is the way we go out. One hand to the heart, then the other. One hand to block, then the other. Lowering and slowly lowering the leg down. You can straighten that front leg. Take a deep breath in. And clearing breath out. Good work here. On your next inhale, you're going to look forward. And exhale, go ahead and step forward. Go ahead and have just a nice forward fold. Just grabbing opposite elbow. Relaxing head. And then slowly we're going to come on up. We're going to bend into our knees, sweeping our hands up. Finding that nice chair pose once again. So this time I want you to keep those feet hip width distance apart as you sink down and low. And then we're going to take the arms wide, and you're going to take that right arm underneath left and just give yourself a hug. So enjoying this nice little yummy hug. You're going to keep the bend in that right leg, and you're going to start to try to lift the left foot up and then come back down. So now we're just working to lift up and down, up and down. And this next time that you come up, you're going to add a little turn. So bringing a little external rotation into that left knee, just opening it up and out to the side. So feeling that little external rotation. And then we'll add on from here. The next time that left knee comes out, you're going to actually cross it over and plant your foot on the block, bending into that right knee deeply. Maybe releasing the hands to try to bring them together to come into your eagle pose. Just pausing here. And then shifting weight into the standing foot. Maybe you try to lift the toes off the block. Maybe you try to wrap that foot behind the back of your calf. And away we go out, we come back in, so bring your foot back slowly to the block. shake it out. Just take a moment to enjoy the balance, the focus that comes with this. That focus does translate elsewhere in your life. So it is so obvious to me, and I think to most of us, that there's so much distraction, especially with our phones constantly pinging, our watch constantly ringing, our emails constantly sending, receiving. It is so essential for us to rebuild focus. And the practice of yoga really does help us move in towards that focus. So if you're somebody that struggles, I know as a child, I was diagnosed with ADHD, and I personally feel like I've moved very far away from that. I'm like the opposite now. I get so focused on something that it's almost impossible for me to do multitasking. But if that is something that you are battling with, like your attention is getting lost, here it is. We are bringing balance not only into your body, but into your mind. Hopefully that little spiel was enough for you to have a little break in your quadriceps. But we are going to come back in and going to come into that other side. So coming into your chair pose, sinking nice and low. There's a slight tick of the tailbone under, and then taking your arms out wide. Nice, and this time that left arm is going to come underneath the right, so you can give yourself that hug. So we're shifting weight. We're just playing with this idea of what is it to shift weight. So we're going to bring more weight into the left leg as we just try to lift the right side up. And just pushing down through that foot as we lift and lower. Lift and lower. Right? So just playing here, having fun. The Garudasana, this pose, is the Great Spirit Bird. And maybe just like the Great Spirit Bird, we need to find a little bit of lightness, a little bit of air in our lives to fly. We're going to start to add that external rotation, so just bringing your knee up and out. Okay, so just playing with that. And then the next time that your knee comes up and out, you're going to work to cross over, trying to bring your foot onto the block, and then you have to bend into that left knee to sink lower. And so maybe you stay here and you just work this. Maybe you start to bring the backs of the forearms together and the hands together, moving those forearms away from the face. Bending into that left knee a lot. And just play. What is it to try to get your right foot off the block? And then maybe what is it to try to sweep it back from behind? And don't be afraid to fall. Just like all little birds leaving the nest, they have to fall before they fly. So finding a few breaths here. And then slowly coming back, foot to the block, and then coming back. And release. Take a deep breath in, reaching up. And exhale, hands down by your side. This last little one is going to be so nice because we just worked our quads a lot. So we're going to work to find a little bit more strength here in the quads. So what we'll do is we'll externally rotate our arms. So we'll spin the thumb out and away from the hip. As we bring the other hand to our heart. From here, we shift our weight into that right leg as we start to bend into the left, and we try to get a hold of that foot. And first, we're just going to work the quad stretch. So bringing your foot towards your glute. And if this isn't available, you could always use a strap or a scarf or the tie for your robe to help hold your foot in this shape. And then from here, once again, that soft, gentle bend in the standing leg. We want to keep that energy flowing through the joints. As we start to kick back now and reach forward and up. So finding our dancer's pose. Maybe this is the hardest one today, but it is important to challenge yourself, find your focus. And then slowly we can release. Releasing that side, shake it out, let it go. Hi. Somebody's very disturbed that I'm teaching you and not playing with her. So reaching our hand back, getting a nice good external rotation, rooting down through the standing leg, even a soft bend in that knee, as we bring our hand to our heart to reroot through ourselves, our balance, and then starting to bend into our knee. And you're just going to work to grab a hold of your foot. Just getting that stretch for your quad. And then from here, you can start to kick back as you reach forward. Any amount will do, but we could try to get that femur bone even to the floor as we kick back and reach forward equally. And then slowly you can release and let that go and just shake it out. Nice. From here, we will work to find our blocks. And we'll just do a nice little restoration for these last few moments here together, this nice little 30-minute session we have. So finding that balance, not only in those postures, but also in our breath, also in our style of practice. So from here, you can take your blocks and place one on the tall setting and one on the medium setting. The goal is to get the backs of your shoulders on that first block and the back of your head on that further block. So you can come on down and scoot yourself forward so you can get your shoulders down and your head down. And then extending your legs long to come into this nice mini hip heart opener. If you want a hip opener, you could bring the soles of feet together and let knees splay wide. Go lay down, 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 no, down, down. Good, good. And just coming back into balance of all of that movement and doing to just receiving, just being. And then if those knees are bent and the feet are together, just bringing the soles of the feet onto the ground. And from here, you can slowly press into your feet just to scoot your hips off to one side. So you can start to roll toward the side, still being supported by those blocks. And then you can help yourself up to a comfortable seat. So just give a moment to notice if by giving yourself this well-deserved self-love and self-attention, do you feel more balanced? Do you feel centered? I thank you so much for sharing your time and practicing with me. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, evening, or night. May you continue to find balance in your life, to have the work and the play, the joy and sorrow, and all the things that make us human and this human experience so worth living. I hope you have a lovely, lovely day.